the next part of my travel took me back to New York City. New York City is by far the busiest city I've ever seen. It has fashion, business, theater, and of course, my personal favorite hobby, salsa dancing. Being such a big city, I couldn't help but feel a little lost. Lucky for me, I was fortunate enough to have a little help from a New Yorker friend, Lisa, to show me around and to teach me more about New York City. I have to mention a bit about Lisa. She was my salsa teacher back in Kaohsiung City, and she still was in New York. She was a drama teacher back in the Kaohsiung American School. In her free time, she was a photographer, an artist, and a lot of other jobs. She really is a superwoman. To my knowledge, she's always been traveling around the world, yet she told me that her favorite place is her hometown, New York City. For the first few days, I slept on the couch in Lisa's apartment. It was really nice of her to offer a place to stay, since New York is really an expensive place to live. My first day in New York, Lisa took me to a theater where she was working as a costume designer. Even it was a small-scale performance, it felt like it was a big, elaborate production. From then on, Lisa started to show me around her city, cool restaurants.
Savvy at brunch. Yummy food.
And my personal favorite, taking me to experience the local salsa scene. My trip to New York wouldn't have been that interesting without her generous help. One thing I did in New York was joining the hop-on and hop-off New York City bus tour.
There's a yoga class going on inside there right now. If you to figure that out.
Within 3 days, I was able to get on or off a different tourist spot in New York City. It was a very good way to experience a lot of New York in a very short amount of time. New York City is home to many unique museums. The first one I went to was Ripley's Believe It or Not. It houses unique art things from all the different continents in the world, and it shows many souvenirs and milestones of the human history. Amazingly, all the things in the museum were collected by Mr. Ripley. It sure was an eye-opening experience. The most daring museum I have ever been to in the world has to be the Museum of Sex. In its modern avant-garde museum, they literally tell you everything regarding sex. From the history of pornography, definition of sex lingo, and pretty much everything about it is out in the open in this sex museum. The last week of my stay in New York City, I moved to stay at Chelsea Youth Hostel. It was when I started to travel on my own, and it was when I started to take lots of dance lessons. Since New York is a melting pot for many world's cultures, New York has the authentic everything. The African dance lesson was really taught by a West African teacher, with band members drumming in the back. I will forever miss New York City for its richness and culture. New York is really a competitive place to live and survive. You can tell by looking at the diversity of artistic performance, from big musical on the Broadway to individual performers on the street. Every corner in this dynamic city seems to be a stage of artists of many sorts. And this is where they find the outlet of their artistic expressions.
Naked cowboy, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I was in New York in time for the remembrance of the attack's victims. I went to the ground zero to pay tribute to the tragedy that happened. last day leaving New York, it rained. Did so because I was sad and happy. Sad for it was the end of my summer's working journey. Really, I was also happy because I knew in my heart I would be back for another amazing working holiday next year.